Hey everybody, Dr. Tom over the Active Healing Center. It is Mobility Monday and we're going to do our focus on the upper spine. More isolated, we're going to work into that real upper part of the neck. This becomes one of those critical areas in your body and how your body functions, where your skull and your upper spine and your upper neck come together. That is a major player in terms of how your body is going to function, not only physically, but even more importantly maybe is how your body functions neurologically. There's so much information passing between your spine and your brain in that area. And it's a critical area. We want that to work really well. Now, if you're somebody who's dealing with a lot of tension-related headaches, TMJ problems, things of that nature, first and foremost, if you have problems like that, you need a proper assessment, diagnosis to find out the exact cause of why you're dealing with these problems. So make sure you're doing that and taking care of that on your end. Now, but again, if you are somebody who's dealing with a lot of tension-related headaches, TMJ problems, I will basically guarantee that you have a lot of restriction and a loss of function in this general area of your spine and your body. You may not be symptomatic in that area, that does not matter. You probably have a loss of proper function, structure, and your overall mobility in that area is a problem. And things that we look at in our office are that forward head posture, tilting of the head, held in a tilted position, translation, shifting of the spine. Those are all things that we look at. But a loss of function in that upper spine is going to open the door for a lot of problems, not only from this part of your body down, but from this part of your body and up. So basically, it can affect your entire body. So mobility-wise, again, we're going to stick with our three components of building better mobility. That's the release, getting these muscles and joints to work better, release that soft tissue in the area. We're going to stretch the area out, and then we're going to mobilize it to reset the nervous system, to get your body to start to fire and start to retrain better function in that particular part of your body. So in order to release that part of your spine, so the area that we're going to focus on is right under where your skull, the occipital bone of your skull, and where your neck come together. We're going to focus on that area, right underneath that area. And medical terms, advanced, the terms that we use in the office, it is that suboccipital region, but it's just the area right underneath where your skull and your spine come together. That is a major player. All this soft tissue, all these muscles, all this area, all these tissues that tie in right at this base of the skull in here. So any loss of proper structure and function is just going to put a massive amount of strain on that area. It's a major player. So a handheld tool is the best way to work this area out. And with this particular tool, we have this rounded headpiece on it, and that becomes real easy. Again, this one uses a vibration, so we can set it real low and work that area without putting a lot of pressure on the bone. Whenever we hit the bone, it's not real comfortable. So you want either a headpiece like that, or if your handheld has a soft foam piece, then you can work that again just on a lower setting and find the tender areas right in where these tissues tie in right to the skull. You can go all the way out to the very edge of the part of the skull right into here. You can work those areas really well. And again, set your timer. You're not crushing the area. You're just working it for 30 seconds, a minute. Work that spot really well. If you don't have the handheld, it does get a little trickier, but you can use something like a lacrosse ball, a really firm peanut like we have here in the office, and just work that spot. I always certainly position is always a key when we're working these areas. So we want to stay nice and tall, good, perfect posture. This is perfect posture that we're looking at, nice and tall. This is abnormal posture. We'll make a distinct difference here. We like to use what's normal and what's abnormal. This is abnormal posture. This is where we want to be. So we want to get nice and tall and work these areas. You could actually dip the head a little bit, maybe put it at a little bit of an angle so that we can put a little extra tension on those muscles, and then just work those areas out so we can get in there. You're not going to feel a great amount of release, but I can find some tender spots in there, like right into the very back of the skull. I could get into some of those spots real simple, and I can feel that pretty well in there, and work that area out. Do both sides, hit it 30, 40 seconds, a minute. Just work that spot out. And that's another way you can release it. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better than not doing anything at all. So a handheld tool, using a tool like that, again, could be a lacrosse ball. A tennis ball is probably not going to, may be able to be somewhat effective. We want something really firm to get in there. But that's how we're going to release the area. Then we're going to stretch the area. So now, if I want to isolate that part of our body, our spine, again, we want to be nice and tall now, good, perfect posture. And on this one, what we're going to do is we're going to bring that chin into the tucked position. So we talk chin tucks all the time here. We'll talk about it again in a quick moment. But we're going to put the head into that chin tuck position, and then we're going to reach straight behind our head and pull let's start over. Put the head in the chin tuck position. We're going to drop the head a little bit, and then I'm going to pull my head, go right to the back of the head, and I'm just going to do a little extra pressure, keeping that chin nice and tucked, head down, eyes down, and just a little extra pressure that I can feel that pulling right into this area. So again, a little bit of a chin tuck. Bring the head down, eyes down towards the floor, and then a little bit of added pressure on the top just to pull down a little bit, and I can feel that pulling right in through here. And again, set your timer, 30 to 40 seconds. That hits right in the back there really well. Now, if I want to isolate in and get into a little bit more of this muscle that ties in from the upper spine into the shoulder, we did this in a past video, the levator scapulae muscle. If I want to isolate right into where that attaches in at the skull and your upper spine, so I'm going to get into that position here. So stay nice and tall. I'm going to turn my head to my left shoulder. We're going to do both sides anyway. So you're going to turn it to the left shoulder. Same thing now, but get my head, bring that chin into a little bit of a tucked position. Drop it down, reach up and pull down, and I can feel that right in there really well. And I can hold that down 30, 40 seconds, release. Do the same thing on the other side. Turn to the right shoulder, bring that chin into a tucked position, and pull down again. Feel that really well, right into where that's attaching into my skull. Great move, 30 to 40 seconds. Always of major importance is that posture. Because if I start to slouch, or if I'm in if I'm off a little bit of my positioning here, I'm not going to feel it as effectively or at all. So you want to stay nice and tall, get into that good position, and hold that there. Third component is our mobility component, and we talk about it all the time. It's a great one to do. We go right into our chin tuck. So I've released it, I've stretched it. Now I'm going to mobilize it, get to the wall, back to the wall, butt to the wall, heels to the wall, shoulders. Get into that little rotated position in your shoulder. So I'm pinching my shoulder blades and chin tucking. Now this one, again, make sure the eyes are staying nice and level and you're pulling your chin straight back. I always like people to do this in front of a mirror if they can. So make sure that your head stays nice and that your eyes are staying nice and level. You're not, when you pull back, you're not getting into that laterally flexed position at all. You're staying nice and level and balanced and holding that. Again, it's just a 2-second hold, release, but everything stays against the wall. So even when you release, the head stays to the wall. You're just letting the chin jut a little bit, and then you're gonna pull straight back, 2-second hold, release, 20 times. All right, if you want to add a little bit more mobility in there, so good movements for the spine are flexion, extension. All right, so now we're working head down and up. We can do that 15, 20 times. We can work our spine rotationally, left to right, 20 times, and then we can work it laterally, ear to shoulder, 20 to 30 times, and that's a great way to do it. Again, release it, stretch it, mobilize it, and that's how we can work and isolate real well into that upper spine. Again, if you're having problems with headaches at all, it's something you want to make sure you're getting evaluated to make sure you find the exact cause of the problem. And if you need some help with it, that's what we're here for. You're going to give us a call. Take care.